I give thanks for who I am, for the person I have become, for the integration of every experience, for the wholeness that now lives within me. Thank you for self-trust, for the confidence that no longer seeks permission, for the inner agreement I move from, for the knowing that guides me accurately. I am grateful for alignment with myself, for no longer being divided internally, for clarity between thought, word, and action, for integrity that feels natural, not forced. Thank you for acceptance, for honoring my pace, for respecting my limits, for trusting my instincts. I give thanks for identity that is stable, not reactive, not performative, not dependent on external validation. I am grateful for self-respect, for boundaries that preserve my energy, for standards that protect my peace, for choices that reflect my values. Because I trust myself, I move without hesitation, because I know who I am. I'm not pulled off course, my decisions are grounded, my direction is consistent, my presence is complete. Thank you for coherence, for inner agreement that strengthens focus, for self-belief that sustains momentum, for wholeness that integrates every dimension of my life. I give thanks for sovereignty, for ownership of my path, for responsibility I carry willingly, for leadership that begins within. I am grateful that nothing in me is fragmented, that every part of my story has a place in my past, present, and future line. I stand whole, I move self-led, and life responds respectfully, consistently, abundantly. I remain in gratitude, I remain aligned, and the cycle continues. I give thanks before the harvest appears. I honor you before the doors open. For thanksgiving is my signal, and alignment is my language. Oh, you sit enthroned above time and systems. You weigh hearts before you release abundance. I come not demanding, but discerning. Thanksgiving that activates heaven. I thank you for what I see and for what is still forming. I bless you for provision in motion and favor in transit. My gratitude travels ahead of me. It prepares rooms I have not entered. It softens gates I have not touched. Thank you for increase. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for favor. Thank you for peace. I do not chase wealth. Wealth responds to alignment. I do not pursue favor. Favor locates gratitude. As iron responds to the magnet, so resources respond to order. I am positioned correctly, and provision recognizes position. Scriptural foundation of abundance. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. The blessing of the Lord makes rich and adds no sorrow. He fills my storehouses with plenty, and my paths drip with abundance. I receive without anxiety, I steward without fear. I expand without losing peace. Terrestrial feast and multiplication. What once required effort now responds to wisdom. What once felt heavy now flows with grace. My hands are skilled, my mind is clear, my timing is precise. Affirmation loop, I am guided, I am resourced, I am sustained, I am increased. Divine favor in motion. Favor speaks on my behalf. Opportunities remember my name. Rooms open before I knock. Provision arrives already prepared. I step into streams already flowing. I walk into systems already aligned. I inherit what was reserved. Gratitude as a seal. I remain thankful in expansion. I remain humble in overflow. I remain aligned in abundance. My gratitude keeps my increase clean. My reverence keeps my wealth stable. My obedience secures longevity. Closing mantra, infinite loop. Thank you for abundance. Thank you for clarity. Thank you for alignment. Thank you for overflow. give thanks for the people in my life, for every soul who met me in truth, for every hand that held mine, and every voice that reminded me I belong. Thank you for the teachers I didn't choose, for the friends who stayed when storms arrived, for the strangers who offered kindness without reasons, and for love that found me in unexpected places. I am grateful for conversations that opened doors, for laughter that healed unseen wounds, for presence that required no words, and for patience that outlasted my impatience. Thank you for the mirrors in human form, those who reflected my strengths, and those who reflected my blind spots. I give thanks for forgiveness, given and received, for bridges rebuilt where walls once stood, for clarity gained through understanding, and for the courage to let go of what no longer serves. I am grateful for community, for belonging without explanation, for hearts aligned in purpose, and for souls united in growth. Thank you for the family of choice, for those who cheer quietly from the sidelines, for mentors who guide without demand, and companions who walked with me when the path was hidden. I give thanks for connection. I know the value of presence. I honor the strength in vulnerability, and I receive abundance in the form of trust and loyalty. I thank you for hearts that understand without words, for eyes that see my worth, for voices that echo encouragement, and for hands that lift me higher. As I give thanks for the souls around me, I attract alignment with hearts that resonate. I nurture relationships that sustain, and I expand the circle of genuine connection. I am grateful for every encounter, every lesson in love, every act of grace, every moment of shared humanity. I stand thankful. I move forward with love, and the flow of connection responds naturally, multiplying kindness, loyalty, and support. give thanks for the road behind me, for every step that taught me something, for every season that shaped me, for the distance I have already covered. I thank you for beginnings that were uncertain, for days when faith carried more than clarity, for nights when endurance became wisdom, for lessons that arrived disguised as delay. I'm grateful for who I was when I didn't yet have the language, the resources, or the confidence. I thank you for the becoming. For every door that closed and redirected me, for every pause that preserved me, for every burden that trained my strength. Nothing was wasted, nothing was random, nothing was empty. I honor the journey that built my discernment, the years that refined my vision, the moments that taught me restraint, patience and precision. Because of where I've been, I know how to steward where I'm going. I give thanks for survival that matured into strategy, for struggle that became structure, for waiting that sharpened my timing. I am grateful for alignment I didn't rush, for growth that took root slowly, for abundance that waited until I could carry it. Now I give thanks for what flows toward me, for provision that arrives without panic, for opportunities that meet me prepared, for wealth that comes clean, calm and ordered. I do not manifest from hunger, I manifest from gratitude. I attract abundance because I respect the process. I receive increase because I honor the journey. My past did not break me, it prepared me. My gratitude keeps me grounded, my awareness keeps me open, my consistency keeps the flow stable. I give thanks for what I have now, and for what continues to expand. I am grateful for peace with progress, for wealth with wisdom, for abundance that feels like arrival, not escape. I stand thankful, I move forward clear, and abundance responds naturally. give thanks for life itself, for breath that entered me before my plans, for waking again without negotiation, for the quiet miracle of being alive. Thank you for the blood that moves without command, for the heart that keeps rhythm while I sleep, for the mind that awakens to possibility, for the soul that remains intact. I am grateful for today, not because everything is perfect, but because I am present within it. I thank you for preservation, for dangers I never saw, for delays that protected me, for endings that made room for increase. I give thanks for life, for the sun that rises without invoice, for air that fills my lungs without permission, for life that sustains me freely, because I am alive. I am already wealthy, because I breathe. I am already supplied, because I stand in consciousness. I stand in covenant. I give thanks for provision that has followed me quietly, food that arrived when I was hungry, help that appeared when I was unsure, strength that came when I was tired. Thank you for what I have, and for what is on its way. My gratitude opens gates, my thanksgiving unlocks flow. As I give thanks, paths straight as I give thanks, resources respond, I give thanks, abundance remembers my address. I do not complain my way into increase, I give thanks my way into overflow. I thank you for work that prospers, for ideas that multiply, for opportunities that align, for wealth that comes with peace. Let abundance find me grateful, let money meet me honorable, let increase arrive and recognize order. I thank you for enough, and I thank you for more than enough. I thank you for abundance that feeds others, for wealth that builds futures, for provision that leaves legacy. Because I am thankful, I am trusted with more. I am alive, I am preserved, I am sustained, I am abundantly supplied. Thank you for today. Thank you for breath. Thank you for life. Thank you for overflow. And I remain in gratitude as abundance continues to manifest. I give thanks for the strength I didn't know I had, for the resolve that rose when escape wasn't an option, for the courage that formed under pressure, for the calm that learned to stand inside uncertainty. Thank you for my inner foundation, for the voice within that refused to collapse, for discipline that held me together, for focus that remained when comfort disappeared. I am grateful for endurance, for the ability to continue without applause, for stamina built in silence, for the quiet power of not quitting. I give thanks for self-control, for emotions I learned to govern, for reactions I learned to soften, for wisdom that taught me restraint over impulse. Thank you for resilience that didn't harden my heart, for strength that didn't strip my compassion, for self-mastery that made me reliable to myself. I am grateful for confidence that grew internally, not borrowed, not announced, not dependent on approval. Thank you for stability in my spirit, for clarity that returns me to center, for alignment that corrects me gently, for composure that keeps my vision steady. I give thanks for my ability to adapt, to learn, to refine, to rebuild without losing myself, because I have strength within me. I'm not afraid of responsibility. I'm not threatened by pressure. I'm not intimidated by scale. My inner order attracts outer order. My discipline creates freedom. My steadiness creates momentum. I thank you for emotional intelligence, for awareness that matures my decisions, for patience that multiplies results, discernment that protects my energy. I am grateful that I can carry more now, more vision, more provision, more influence. reliable, composed, unshaken. I give thanks for vision, for the ability to see beyond the present moment, for clarity that extends into the future, for direction that steadies my steps. Thank you for foresight, for insight that forms before results appear, for understanding that guides my planning, for awareness that keeps me aligned with where I'm going. I am grateful for certainty within uncertainty, for confidence that does not require proof, for trust in the unfolding path, for knowing that I am being led accurately. Thank you for long-range thinking, for patience to build what lasts, for discernment that filters distraction, for focus that keeps my trajectory clean. I give thanks for goals that inspire discipline, for vision that organizes effort, for direction that makes sacrifice meaningful, for clarity that simplifies decisions. Because I see ahead, I move with intention. Because I trust the future, I act without hesitation. Vision sharpens my priorities, direction stabilizes my pace, certainty reduces resistance. I am grateful for strategy that forms naturally, for plans that adjust without panic, for adaptability that preserves momentum, for insight that keeps me positioned. Thank you for alignment between who I am and where I am going, for growth that matches my trajectory, for expansion that respects my foundation. I give thanks for confidence in outcomes, for peace in the process, for assurance that what I'm building will endure. My future is not vague, my direction is not scattered, my path is not confused. I stand with vision, I move with certainty, and the future responds. Clear, ordered, favorable. give thanks for a clear mind, for thoughts that organize themselves, for focus that settles gently, for understanding that arises without force. Thank you for mental order, for clarity that cuts through noise, for awareness that keeps me present, for insight that guides my decisions. I am grateful for concentration that sustains me, for the ability to stay with what matters, for discipline that protects my attention, for stillness that sharpens my perception. Thank you for discernment, for knowing what to engage and what to release, for recognizing truth without confusion, for wisdom that simplifies complexity. I give thanks for a calm nervous system, for thoughts that move at a useful pace, for peace that stabilizes my reasoning, for composure that strengthens my judgment. I am grateful that my mind works with me, not against me, that focus flows naturally, that clarity returns me to alignment. Thank you for intelligence that matures with experience, for memory that serves me faithfully, for learning that integrates smoothly, for creativity that emerges from order. My mind is not scattered, my attention is not fractured, my awareness is not overwhelmed. I think clearly, I choose deliberately, I act decisively. I give thanks for mental resilience, for the ability to reset quickly, for flexibility without instability, for sharpness without tension. Because my thoughts are aligned, my actions are effective, because my focus is protected, my results are consistent. I am grateful for clarity that attracts opportunity, for sound judgment that builds trust, for focus that multiplies output without exhaustion. I stand mentally clear, I move with precision, and insight responds naturally, accurate, timely, reliable. I give thanks for rest, for moments when effort releases, for pauses that restore balance, for stillness that repairs what motion depletes. Thank you for restoration, for recovery that happens naturally, for renewal that does not require urgency, for rest that reaches body, mind, and spirit. I am grateful for permissions to slow down, for breath that deepens without instruction, for quiet that resets my rhythm, for ease that returns me to center. Thank you for sleep that repairs, for rest that integrates learning, for calm that stabilizes energy, for renewal that prepares me for clarity. I give thanks for cycles of effort and release, for knowing when to act and when to pause, for balance that sustains productivity, for recovery that protects longevity. I am grateful that rest is not weakness, that stillness does not delay progress, that renewal enhances precision. Because I rest well, I focus better. Because I restore fully, I create with ease. Thank you for peace that arrives in quiet moments, for insight that surfaces when I stop forcing, for creativity that emerges from spaciousness. I give thanks for gentleness toward myself, for compassion that supports consistency, for patience that allows recovery. Rest integrates growth, stillness organizes thought, renewal stabilizes momentum. I am grateful that my energy returns stronger, that my focus refreshes cleanly, that my capacity expands without strain. I stand restored, I move renewed, and my energy responds naturally. Balanced, sustainable, clear. I give thanks for peace, for calm that lives within me, for stillness that does not depend on circumstance, for safety that exists beyond external noise. Thank you for emotional grounding, for stability in my inner world, for rest that reaches deeper than sleep, for assurance that keeps my nervous system steady. I am grateful for a regulated spirit, for emotions that inform, not control, for awareness that softens reaction, for composure that restores balance. Thank you for environments that support peace, for spaces where I can breathe freely, for boundaries that protect my energy, for distance from what disrupts my clarity. I give thanks for healing, for wounds that no longer govern me, for memories that have lost their charge, for release that arrive gently without force. I am grateful for emotional intelligence, for knowing when to pause, for choosing calm over chaos, for responding instead of reacting. Thank you for peace that guards my mind, for reassurance that steadies my thoughts, for inner quiet that sharpens perception, for calm that multiplies effectiveness. Because I am at peace, I make better decisions. Because I feel safe, I move without fear. Peace allows focus to deepen. Calm allows creativity to emerge. Stability allows growth to sustain. I give thanks for nervous system balance, for breath that returns me to center, for presence that dissolves urgency, for serenity that strengthens clarity. I am grateful that I no longer operate from pressure, that I no longer rush from anxiety, that my progress is grounded in calm. Thank you for peace that coexists with ambition, for rest that does not interrupt momentum, for calm that enhances productivity. I stand emotionally safe, I move gently and powerfully, and peace responds naturally, protective, grounding, sustaining. I give thanks for purpose, for work that carries meaning, for effort that contributes beyond survival, for labor that leaves something better than it found. Thank you for the ability to produce value, for skills that serve others, for ideas that solve real problems, for work that allows me to to express who I am. I am grateful for direction, for knowing where to apply my energy, for clarity around what matters, for focus that channels my gifts. Thank you for assignments that stretch me, for responsibility that matures me, for challenges that refine my competence, for work that grows me while I build. I give thanks for alignment in my efforts, for tasks that resonate internally, for projects that feel clean and ordered, for momentum that flows without resistance. I am grateful that my work has impact, that it serves people I may never meet, that it creates solutions, stability and progress, that it participates in something larger than me. Thank you for dignity in work, for excellence that honors my time, for integrity that guides my output, for consistency that compounds results. I give thanks for compensation that reflects value, for recognition that arrives naturally, for opportunities that expand my reach, for growth that follows responsibility. Because my work is purposeful, I do not feel drained by effort. Because my contribution is aligned, I do not feel empty after success. My labor builds futures, my focus creates systems, my discipline produces outcomes. I am grateful for collaboration, for teams that multiply effectiveness, for leadership that values structure, for contribution that fits into a larger vision. Thank you for progress I can measure, for milestones that confirm direction, for results that validate patience, for outcomes that reward diligence. I give thanks that my work leaves a legacy, that my effort has continuity, that what I build today sustains tomorrow. I stand purposeful, I move with intention, and my work responds, pity too, valuable, enduring. thanks for who I am, for the person I have become, for the integration of every experience, for the wholeness that now lives within me. Thank you for self-trust, for the confidence that no longer seeks permission, for the inner agreement I move from, for the knowing that guides me accurately. I am grateful for alignment with myself, for no longer being divided internally, for clarity between thought, word, and action, for integrity that feels natural, not forced. Thank you for acceptance, for honoring my pace, for respecting my limits, for trusting my instincts. I give thanks for identity that is stable, not reactive, not performative, not dependent on external validation. On external validation. I am grateful for self-respect, for boundaries that preserve my energy, for standards that protect my peace, for choices that reflect my values, because I trust myself. I move without hesitation, because I know who I am. I am not pulled off course. My decisions are grounded, my direction is consistent, my presence is complete. Thank you for coherence, for inner agreement that strengthens focus, for self-belief that sustains momentum, for wholeness that integrates every dimension of my life. I give thanks for sovereignty, for ownership of my path, for responsibility I carry willingly, for leadership that begins within. I am grateful that nothing in me is fragmented, that every part of my story has a place, that my past, present, and future align. I stand whole, I move self-led, and life responds respectfully, consistently, abundantly. I remain in gratitude, I remain aligned, and the cycle continues.
I rise with the sun, aligned, called, chosen. My path is gold. Morning light on my skin, I feel the shift begin. Every breath that I take holds abundance within. I'm connected to the source, ancient power in my veins. Every step that I make turns struggle into gain. I'm aligned with the flow, wealth follows where I go. Opportunities appear when my spirit says so. My name is written in the sky with the prosperous flame. Everything meant for me comes in my name. I rise in gold, I rise in power. Wealth flows to me, hour by hour. I magnetize dreams, I call what's mine. Abundance in my hands, perfectly aligned. I rise in gold, I rise in power. My destiny expands, every single hour. I magnetize dreams, I call what's mine. Abundance in my hands, perfectly aligned. Ancestors walk with me, whisper truth in my ear. Child, the kingdom is yours, there's nothing to fear. I carry worlds in my mind, I create what I speak. Everything I visualize becomes what I seek. I am the blessing, the vessel, the river of wealth. I manifest with intention, with clarity and health. My thoughts are a temple, my voice is a key, unlocking every door that was crafted for me. I rise in gold, I rise in power. Wealth flows to me, hour by hour. I magnetize dreams, I call what's mine. Abundance in my hands, perfectly aligned. I rise in gold, I rise in power. My destiny expands, every single hour. I magnetize dreams, I call what's mine. Abundance in my hands, perfectly aligned. I call the gold, I call the rise, I call the life designed in the skies. Everything good, everything true flows through my spirit and into my view. I rise in gold, I rise in gold, I rise in gold, I rise reborn. My blessings shine like the breaking dawn. I magnetize dreams with effortless grace. Wealth finds its way to my sacred space.
I give thanks for time itself, for moments that arrive slowly, for seasons that refuse to rush, for timing that protected me from being early. Thank you for the delays that matured me, for waiting that strengthened my discernment, for pauses that clarified my direction, for silence that taught me how to listen. I am grateful for timing that did not bend to pressure, for doors that stayed closed until alignment was complete, for opportunities that waited until my capacity matched the call. I give thanks for time that heals quietly, for patience that deepens understanding, for days that taught me rhythm instead of force. Thank you for lessons that required repetition, for growth that unfolded layer by layer, for progress that wasn't loud but lasting. I am grateful that I was not rushed into responsibility,
give thanks for arriving when I could sustain, for being positioned when I could steward, for expansion that came when I was stable. Because of time, I now move with confidence. Because of timing, I act without anxiety. Because of patience, my decisions are precise. I thank you for alignment I did not force, for outcomes I did not manipulate, for progress that unfolds naturally. I am grateful for today, not late, not early, but exact. I trust the pace of my becoming. I honor the rhythm of my life. I move in agreement with time, not against it. As I give thanks, timing cooperates. As I remain patient, outcomes accelerate. As I stay aligned, doors open cleanly. I stand in the right moment. I move with certainty, and everything meets me on time. Prepared, order, sustaining.